significant that the Reform movement has decided that we are going to read this again on Yom Kippur, Nitzavim Vayelech. The first Torah portion is called Nitzavim, which means to stand, that we were standing just at the foot of being able for Moses to tell us all the things that we had learned on our desert journey. Moses then tells us that we have to stand and accept that before we move into the promised land. The next Torah portion's name is Vayelech, which means to go forth. And I'll say that sometimes we can encounter dates and times that we want to be able to just walk away from. They're too difficult, like September 11th. And yet we have to stand and we have to take that in, because that's been part of our experience, that loss, and also that being able to say that we honor those people who passed away, and we honor all that they stood for. And then we say, Vayelech. We stand at attention and then we move. We move in ways to be able to make real what they stood for and who we need to be, because there is life yet to be lived. On this Shabbat, it is the Shabbat just before we enter Rosh Hashanah, that in a week from now, we're going to be gathering like this, welcoming in a new year. We have B'nai Mitzvah, a Bat Mitzvah on this Shabbat to be able to celebrate. There is so much living to do. And we are grateful then to be able to honor this day, to be able to welcome in Shabbat with beautiful light, and to be able then to see a time in which we can enter lands of promise, of beautiful peace, and of happiness. I have to say to you, Julia, that is part of what you provide to us, that hope that we can go into a better and brighter day. And how beautiful then that we begin this with our community on Shabbat by bringing in light. And so on this Shabbat, we invite Jamie and Jonathan, so proud today. We are so excited for you that Julia is about to become a bat mitzvah. And Eve, we're so happy that you're with us, being able to share that Shabbat light. We're on page 120.
Read it?
Yeah.
Right, like do I? Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law and goodness, help us find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and in our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Now we do the candles.
Yeah. Okay, ready? Wanna all together? We can do that. Wanna sing?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Oh, Julie, I can't wait to be at the Ark with you tomorrow in the sanctuary.
Yes.
So beautiful. Thank you
guys.
For that.
Thank you, Fishman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mazal Tov. We turn now to page 123. And if you're able, you'll rise for our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו מאהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. And we continue now with Lachado D, page 138. And when we get to those final verses, then we greet the Shabbat bride. Again, page 138, Lachado D.
Lai, 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 Lachado D. Lai, 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 Likrat Kala. Lai, 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Yishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lai, 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 Lachado D. Lai, 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 Likrat Kala. Lai, 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha. Ki makor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof maaseh b'machashava tchila. Lai, 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 Lachado D. Lai, 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 Likrat Kala. Lai, 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri. Kiva oreh, umi ori, uri, uri. Shir daberi, kavod Adonai, halayich nigla. Lai, 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 Lachado D. Lai, 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 Likrat Kala. Lai, 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Would you rise, face the entrance of your home, and get ready for the Sabbath to come on in? Boi v'shalom, ateret bala. Gam b'simcha u'zola. Tochem u'nei amzegula. Bomi hala, bomi hala. Lai, lai,
course, the Sabbath bride needs her attendants. So we call on the Sabbath angels, those angels of peace, with Shalom Aleichem on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
As we have prepared for our tefillah, we together rise in body or in spirit for the words of the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. We continue on page 154, the chanting of the Ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzabecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם.
Elohechem emet. Emet. Going through that narrow place, Egypt meets Mitzrayim. The narrow, the difficult, the anxiety producing. We, our country, in so many ways have been through narrow places. And we continue to be in a narrow place, hoping that as we continue to move forward, we get to that better place, to that free place. Mi chamocha, page 158.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot o seifele, nora tehilot o seifele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, vokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed.
On the next page, page 160, we ask for that most precious gift, peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. May you shelter us in peace until the morning comes. May you shelter us and lay us down and raise us up. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
As we've gone from that narrow place of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, going through the sea, and then through those words of Hashkivenu, praying for peace and safety, especially as we sleep at night, we then find ourselves in a place of reflection, a place where we can truly explore ourselves and our connection to God, with a greater being in our world. And we do that as we take our steps forward in the Amidah on page 164, continuing on the
Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel, Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Libnei Bneihem L'man Shemo, V'yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarab l'hoshia, morid hatal, mechakel chayim v'chesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofech holim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, v'shenei afar, michamucha bal givurot, Umido melach, melach memit, umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'nemanat al hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
As we contemplate the journeys that we have been on, our families have been on, our people have been on, our country has been on. We contemplate all that has brought us to this day, all the good and the bad, the evil and the blessings. We take a moment in our silent Amidah to reflect on all of this as we either continue on the pages in the booklet or on the words in our heart. You may be seated when you are ready.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto God, unto God. Lie, 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 Join me in these words. May the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart, please let them be acceptable. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto God, unto God.
May our words be acceptable unto God. On this September 11th, we recall what it was like for our country to feel such pain, to feel such heartache, to feel such fear. These feelings we also recognize in our loved ones who are going through that work of healing, that healing work of the physical body, the spiritual soul, of the mind. If there are those who you are thinking about on this Shabbat who are in need of that healing, that deep sense of healing, I invite those who are here in our Zoom room to, in a moment, be able to unmute yourself, to share the name, to write it in the chat, or if you're on Facebook, to write it in the chat there.
Barbara Durst,
Anna Bree Sulzer,
Sue
Shelby
Meyer,
Steinloff,
Wally Windsor, Kathy Dorothy,
Karen Platt,
Eric Friedberg, Rotten Rubin, and Kim Dombrow.
Javon Kissy,
Ruben Kotaraszewski, Carlos Tabares,
Ken Ditkowski,
websites of
And we add to that list David Meyer, Adam Safi, Susan Levine, Alana Worth, Stacy Chibnip, Judith Rosen, Elaine Baddock, Rochelle Baddock, Jonathan Spitz, Ann Nicholas, Alec Geladin, Elizabeth De Bruyne, Eric Boyd, Dee Dee Cohen, Avner Drucker, Carol Miller, Richard Colbert, June Reintz, Jacob Blake, Kenneth Ditkowski, Jim Clemens, Don Sable, Albert Bosch, the Gorge family, Marge Hillard, Sue Meyer, Melissa Josephs, Sandy Ottenstein, the Cunningham family, Phyllis Simon, the Tobin family, Marlena Scavuzzo, Colleen, the people of Washington, Oregon, California, and the wildfires, as well as Flo Bernberg, Rebecca Luker, Richard Staller, David Gordon, as well as Lydia Rose Winkler.
Adonai, love me. Adonai, love me. Adonai, love me. Please love me, Adonai. This is one of those versions of healing when I miss you guys the most, and I miss your voices, because you repeat after me all the things that are in your heart that you want healing for. We say, heal her, heal him, heal us, whatever is in your heart. You just keep singing and praying with me. Adonai, Adonai, heal them. Adonai, heal them. Adonai, heal them. Please heal them, Adonai. Guide us, Adonai. Guide us, Adonai. Guide us, Adonai. Guide us, please. Guide us, Adonai. Love us, Adonai. Love us, Adonai. Love us, Adonai. Love us, please. Love us, Adonai. This may seem a little selfish, but I actually think this could help everybody. Heal me. Adonai, heal me. Adonai, heal me. Adonai, heal me. Please heal me, Adonai. Last time, heal us. Heal us now. Adonai, heal us. Adonai, heal us. Adonai, heal us. Please heal us, Adonai.
As we continue to pray that Adonai heals us, that Adonai is looking over us, and we continue to help heal those around us, we also acknowledge the healing of Debbie Frank and so many others in our world in need of healing.
Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful song. I really loved it. I am wondering how many of you have ever experienced a sensation that I have heard called Jew-barrassment. Jew-barrassment is a term coined by Archie Gottesman, which talks about the experience of feeling shame or embarrassment in a Jewish moment. This can happen maybe when somebody asks you a question about Judaism that you don't know the answer to, or maybe you're leading a prayer for your friends or family and like completely forget the words halfway through. That has happened to me many times. Or you say something about Judaism and somebody else corrects you and tells you that you're wrong. I'm willing to guess that almost all of us have experienced Jew-barrassment in some form or another in our lives. In fact, I think that most Jews have. The emphasis on attaining knowledge can be so intense in Judaism that it borders on competition. This, combined with some pretty high barriers, such as our holy texts being in multiple ancient languages, Jewish practices varying widely across cultures, and our inclusion of thousands and thousands of books, leaves many Jews feeling like they just don't know enough. When I studied at a yeshiva, or a house of learning, a Jewish house of learning, for the first time, I was shocked to learn that many of my fellow students, most of whom had been raised in observant homes and had grown up going to day schools, even they felt like they just didn't know nearly enough about Judaism. Those feelings of shame, however, are entirely unhelpful, and I would go so far as to argue that they are not really Jewish. I want to note that the famous shame researcher, Brene Brown, distinguishes, importantly for us, between shame and guilt. She says that guilt is when we hold something we've done or failed to do up against our values and feel a sense of psychological discomfort. Whereas shame stems from feeling flawed or from feeling inherently not enough. This is why we love guilt in Judaism, but dislike shame. I think there's some confusion about this, however, because I often hear people referring to themselves as a bad Jew. But I would like to argue that based on this distinction between guilt and shame, a bad Jew is a Jewish person who lies, cheats, steals, or murders, and not somebody who doesn't go to synagogue that often. This week's Torah portion, Nitzavim, presents a vision for how to be a good Jew, somebody who lives out a Judaism that is free of shame and instead full of pride and empowerment, no matter their background. In Nitzavim, Moses has the people of Israel gathered to continue a very long speech where he imparts the messages that he thinks are the most important to leave the people with as they enter the land. Moses reminds the people that the covenant that they made between them and God. He says, "You stand here today, all of you, before the Lord your God. The tribal heads are here, the elders are here, the officials, all of the men of Israel, all of the children, all of the wives, even the strangers within your camp, from the woodchopper to the water drawer. You are all here to enter into the covenant of the Lord your God." This is a Judaism of radical inclusion and embrace. Moses says, this covenant is for all of you. Moses does not say, this is a covenant for those who are fluent in Hebrew, or this is a covenant for those who went to summer camp, or those who have fully formed ideas about God. Moses continues with the speech and gets to what I think is one of the best lines in like pretty much the whole Torah, and there are a lot of good lines. He says something along the lines of, this Judaism that you all have inherited, don't treat it as though it's so distant that it's up in the sky and it's impossible for you to understand. Don't treat it like it's on the other side of the sea and it's impossible for you to access. He says, this Judaism is very close to you. It is so close that it is in your mouth and it is in your heart, and you can do it. This is a Judaism that is already in your heart. I am so grateful that this year we are receiving this message from Moses before a very strange and unusual high holiday season. Many of us feel apprehensive and I think even a sense of loss around the fact that at a time when we would usually gather together as one incredible community, this year the holidays, like most other things, are streaming into our homes. The feeling of a large community gathering together in person is, of course, irreplaceable. But I think that Moses' message that the core of Judaism always sits with us in our hearts is what we need to remember as we are praying and celebrating at home this year. Judaism is not far away. It is not in the skies or in the seas or even just in the synagogue. It is in our hearts. It is well within our power to create different yet meaningful experiences for ourselves at home, whether it is our first high holidays or our 70th. I'm sure some of you have seen that many creative suggestions as to how to do this have been whizzing around the internet. Everything from saying that if you're the kind of person who always wears heels to synagogue on Yom Kippur, you should continue to wear those heels at home. Or if you're the kind of person who loves cooking, you can fill your home with the smells and tastes of your favorite festival foods. To even the idea that we can all create a mikdash ma'at, a small area within our homes that serves as a little sanctuary. Whatever you decide to do, to me, the key idea that underlies all of these suggestions is the idea that this year we should step as far away as we can from Jew-bearishment, from the idea that we can't play a part in creating wonderful Jewish experiences for ourselves, and that we can step into Jewish empowerment. The knowledge that even in times when it might seem like Judaism feels a little far away or a little harder to access than usual, it is right here with us. This week, as we move forward into the high holidays, let us do so with pride, joy, and confidence, and the knowledge that a big part of what we need, whether or not we know all of the Hebrew words, is already in our hearts. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasher Koach, Rabbi. I needed to hear those words. Find that space. Thank you, Rabbi Singer, so much.
We are rising in body and in spirit and turning to page 586 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol, la'tek gdula le'otzer b'reishit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeu kahem, v'goralenu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We take time now to invite into our community the memories of those who we are mourning and missing. We remember people who have passed away in this last week, in this last month, in this last year, and in the last years at this time. If you're thinking of somebody tonight, I'm going to invite you to take a moment to unmute yourself and share their name out loud, or you can type it in the chat and we will read it out loud.
Ron Shannon.
Howard Vian, Sandra Cornishore.
Workplace had been partially destroyed by the attack, and despite the fact that they knew their teammates would.
Michael Cooper.
John M. Griffith.
Michael Cooper.
Sherry Camico Goodman.
Judd Weinberg.
Lillian Ditkowski.
George W. Bush walking through our meetings in the halls of the Pentagon on September.
We add to those names Susan Kessler, the Tobin family, Philip Dorfman, Andrew Lowe, Grandpa Alan Meyer, the victims of September 11th, Ben Lane Korn. We add to those names Eleanor Singer, Sylvia Nyberg, Catherine Kiki Klein, Matthew David Tarnoff, Jeremy Berger, Nadine Fort, Richard McCoskell, Ben Lane Korn, Joshua Aaron, Joanne Z. Ditkowski, Peter Dworsky, Phyllis Eatman, Harry Saddam, Inez Gold, Greta Greenthal, Raymond Hartstein, Eugene Leo Jastel, David Kahana, Oscar Kofkin, Armin Lipsig, Dr. Andrew Lowe, Michael London, Andrew Marco, Irving Meister, Pearl Meister, Elizabeth Marie Meters, Helga Milberg, Rita Mormino, Robert Newton, Helen Pay, Muriel Phillips, Annette Rolski, Evelyn Rosenson, Sonia Satanovskaya, Philip Krell, Ronald Lee Scheiman, Harry Siegel, Rebecca Hootman Stanley, Scott Stoll, Rivian Upin, Christine Wagman, Loretta Weinberg, and Barbara Zelvin. We rise in body or spirit and read together the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uvyomachon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kari v'imru. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach yitbarach, yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah richu, le'ela min kol v'irchata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechamata, Damiran bi'alma v'imru, Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Useh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Useh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Amen. I bet you want me to close with a song, rabbis. Hi, everyone. Here we go. I want that gallery view. You did it so beautifully before. Shir Hamalot B'Shuv Adonai Et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kechomim. I think we're on page 635, and if we're not, I'm really sorry. Just follow along. Shabbat Shalom. It goes like this. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. You know when the Muppets are singing and they go back and forth like this? That's what you guys kind of look like, and I love it. It's very exciting. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye-bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.